From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now at 4:30, more progress being made on a COVID-19 vaccine. We'll take a look at the latest steps taken towards distribution. If you've recovered from COVID-19, there's a big way you can help those who are in the hospital. Details on what you can do for others fighting that virus. And Indianapolis could possibly host the entire NCAA men's basketball tournament, what we know about the ongoing talks, and what it could mean for our city. But first, here at 4:30, I want to thank you for joining our team here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by right now with a check of our temperatures. Todd, what's going on?
You know, it's chilly out there this morning, Lauren, but not nearly as cold as it's going to be 24 hours from now. That's when the coldest air of the entire week settles into central Indiana. And our temperatures this morning are in the 30s and 40s. So this is even better than where we were yesterday. The problem is this morning that we still have some wind out there, and these wind gusts are still anywhere from about 20 to 25 miles per hour, with a little bit of a higher one here at the last report in Indianapolis. So that's making it feel a little bit cooler with wind chills in the 20s and low 30s this morning. So you definitely need to bundle up as you walk out the door. But thankfully, we avoided this precipitation to the north with some snow showers. They clipped the Fort Wayne area. But here in central Indiana, just a little more in the way of cloud cover as you work to the north this morning. But that'll push off to the east very, very quickly and then back off to the west. It is quiet. It's another sun-filled day for us. In fact, sunshine from start to finish today. It's just not going to warm a whole lot throughout the course of the day today, going from 33 at 8 a.m. to 40 degrees by 1 p.m. And honestly, we probably don't warm a whole lot more from there throughout the afternoon hours, but there are warmer temperatures in our extended forecast. More on that coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this Tuesday morning. This is south of downtown, I-65 and Keystone Avenue. You can see here that traffic is moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound. This is that ongoing bridge project, but things have really straightened back out after some major traffic shifts over the past few months. That is good news. All the lanes are open at this early hour, and we'll continue to keep you updated. It's 4:32. Let's go to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic. Indiana health officials say that Indiana's hospitals are treating the largest number of patients since they began reporting numbers in the spring. The State Department of Health says there are more than 2,700 COVID hospitalizations as of Sunday. They also confirmed 5,218 new positive cases of the virus. That brings the state's total to more than 256,000. 26 more Hoosiers have died with this disease. The state health department also updated numbers of cases it reported at our schools, showing the total number at more than 8,200 students. Indiana State House leaders say that supporting schools and helping students catch up will be a top priority in the 2021 session. Today, lawmakers will begin the first formal steps towards starting the session with Organization Day. The Indiana State Teachers Association has announced that they hope to see change. We'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. States across the country are adding more COVID-19 restrictions. In Philadelphia, nurses are expected to walk off the job today to protest conditions in the hospitals. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
This morning, new COVID restrictions going into effect in multiple states as the virus spreads at record levels. In California, the governor says he's pulling the emergency brake on reopening the state's economy and is considering a statewide curfew.
Daily cases, though, in the state of California have doubled just in the last 10 days. This is simply the fastest increase California has seen since the beginning of this pandemic.
The mayor of Los Angeles is now asking residents to avoid travel for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Don't travel to visit family in other cities or host others from out of town or other households if possible.
In Iowa, the governor there is reversing course, now issuing a mask mandate.
I'm afraid that these mild cases have created a mindset where Iowans have become complacent.
Indoor gatherings in New Jersey are now limited to 10 people. In Oklahoma, masks are now required in state buildings, and restaurants in the state must close at 11 p.m. starting Thursday.
Oklahoma's not alone. Big cities, small towns, West Coast, East Coast, all in between are seeing their cases increase.
The U.S. is now averaging nearly 145,000 new infections daily, and the number of lives lost is approaching 250,000. But this morning, promising news on the vaccine front. Moderna is now the second pharmaceutical company to announce its vaccine is more than 90% effective. Though it's more expensive, Moderna's vaccine can be stored at regular refrigeration temperatures, unlike Pfizer's, which could make distribution easier. The vaccines could be available to some people as early as next month.
The companies have been incredibly vigilant about maintaining sort of the integrity of the process of clinical trials when it comes to vaccine. There's no signs of any cutting of corners.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
And let's talk about that Pfizer vaccine. They're working on distribution, and they're planning to test distribution now in 4 states. Preliminary data shows that the experimental vaccine is more than 90% effective. However, distributing it, we know, can be more challenging. The vaccine must be stored at temperatures lower than what standard freezers can do. It also requires 2 doses spaced 3 weeks apart to be effective. The states Pfizer chose for this testing are Rhode Island, Texas, New Mexico, and Tennessee due to their differences in size, diversity, and immunization infrastructure. If the vaccine receives FDA approval, Pfizer will produce 100 million doses of it for the federal government at the price of $1.95 billion, that is. It will still take months before a COVID vaccine is widely available to the public. Even then, perception and public opinion could be huge challenges for healthcare workers hoping to get a grasp on this pandemic. Many people in states across the nation have already voiced problems with the idea of vaccines, which is known as vaccine hesitancy. Some view the measures to mitigate the effects of the pandemic as political. Others are skeptical about the first rounds of the vaccine and the potential side effects and effectiveness. We spoke to a professor at IUPUI specializing in health and medical communication. She says that people are going to have to do the work, asking questions of medical professionals and taking an active part in managing their health.
And I think it's incredibly important that people spend time educating themselves about this virus, about how it works, about how we prevent spreading it, and that they make sure that they are relying on credible sources. So our local news, the CDC, the Indiana Immunization Coalition will be an important place for people to find out information about the vaccine when it becomes available. The Indiana State Department of Health. So all of these really credible sources are important for us to spend time with and learn about this information so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves.
Dr. Head, who you just heard from, says the effort behind the vaccination is to reach herd immunity. That's where enough people have built up antibodies to a virus that it's not spreadable in the population. Right now, there's a shortage of different medical resources that's helping in the fight against COVID-19. Convalescent plasma donated by someone who has recovered from the virus can be used to treat current COVID patients. Versity Blood Center Indiana is putting out a call for donations. Dr. Dan Waxman with Versity says that more people are getting hospitalized. He's worried that they soon won't be able to provide the life-saving treatment to those who need it.
Something that we can only get from people who've had the infection. We can't create this in a laboratory. We can't get it in from a pharmaceutical company.
Well, for more information on how to donate plasma, you can go to our website, WRTV.com, and just click on that story. Indianapolis could be the center of the college basketball world next spring. The NCAA is reporting talks with the state and city, potentially hosting the 68-team men's basketball tournament for March and April. NCAA officials say that it's clear that it's not possible to safely manage the complex tournament in the normal stages in several states. The committee is focused on finding a place that limits travel and has enough venues, hotels, and other resources.
Given that the Final Four is scheduled to be in Indianapolis, where it's been on a regular basis, where the NCAA is headquartered, of course, and we've got really good working relationships and great support from the Hoosier State, we think that that may be our best option if we can work out all the important details around competition venues, practice sites, hotel arrangements, medical resources that are all very available here in Indianapolis. So that's our hope, but we still have a long way to go to finalize all that.
In a statement, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett says officials are confident that the city can rise to the challenge thanks to the collaboration of civic organizations and the strength of the hospitality industry, and they look forward to continued conversations with the NCAA. Of course, we'll bring you updates as we learn new information. You may see a school bus making stops in Indianapolis, but no kids getting on and off. Coming up, how they are being transformed to help serve the community during this pandemic. More people have been speeding or driving impaired since the pandemic began. We'll take a look at some of the cities that are now enforcing safe driving. Todd.
And Lauren, our average high this time of year is 52 degrees. Today we won't get anywhere close to that. Tomorrow, as you see, a little bit closer, but just in time for the end of the week and the weekend. Temperatures go well above normal. We'll talk all about this temperature trend and the next chance of seeing some precipitation in our forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. It is 4:43. The Indianapolis community is continuing to find ways to help their neighbors during this pandemic. A rolling food pantry is just the latest example. WRTV's own Cameron Riddle takes us on the bodega bus that could soon be stopping at a corner near you.
On the near northwest side, there was a new creative solution to bring fresh produce and grocery options to one of Indy's largest food deserts.
This is the Near Northwest Faith Partners, our mobile bodega.
Inside this 40-foot retired school bus is not a load of students, but instead a load of food. Pastor Tyrese Bowman is part of a team of people who during the pandemic saw their community struggling to get food and groceries.
The brainstorm with a few of our board members said, hey, what happens when, COVID surges and shuts down and there's no access to food and kids are stuck at home and our residents and seniors unable to get out?
Right now, the two yellow buses serve as rolling food pantries, driving into the near northwest and Riverside neighborhoods, dropping off food all for free. But the service itself is not without its costs. The near northwest side Faith Partners cover the cost of fuel, maintenance, and the produce, while donations from community partners like Security National Mortgage Company literally help the wheels on this bus go round.
It's hard to do everything yourself. Couples moving here from out of state because COVID, they lost their jobs out west. Moving to Indy, now they're trying to figure out how to get food on the table.
After a soft launch last week, Bowman says the plan is to eventually hire a full team of staff to operate both buses while feeding their community that is craving for food options.
These buses are starting in Riverside and Northwest, but we're looking at servicing the entire city and potentially state as well.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Well, before purchasing those retired school buses, the group was feeding 1,500 Indianapolis families every week while using minivans and smaller buses. After soft launching with the bigger buses last week, they were able to feed 300 families in a single day. Eventually, bodega buses will serve as a rolling store with competitive prices and direct delivery. It is 4:45. Risky behavior behind the wheel is up during the pandemic. More people are speeding and driving impaired. The Governor's Highway Safety Association met last week to address the issue. They say they need to change how they get people to slow down.
Can't put officers on every road, and we have to leverage, technologies and resources that are going to help us to really get folks to change their behavior.
Well, some states are using speed cameras. In Baltimore, Maryland, they've seen a 10% increase in tickets from that technology. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration also says impaired driving is up. To help, the GHSA and Lyft awarded 5 states thousands of dollars to prevent impaired driving during the holiday season. Indiana did not receive that funding this year. At 4:46, holiday gatherings will be a lot smaller this year, and for many, some people may find it difficult to explain that to their kids. Mental health experts at Children's Hospital in Colorado say that parents should be direct about the importance of keeping their loved ones safe this holiday season. Encouraging the kids to share their ideas for family gatherings could help them accept these changes. Also, make sure that children realize that a smaller gathering doesn't mean there's nothing worth celebrating. Doctors say it's important to emphasize with children and also to remind them that these changes will not be forever. If you're considering a virtual Thanksgiving this year, Zoom is offering more time to connect with family and friends. The video conferencing company is getting rid of its 40-minute time limit for the holiday. Normally, Zoom times out and kicks people off after that amount of time. The unlimited time will apply globally starting on midnight, November 26th, and last through 6 a.m. the next morning. Overnight, a team of astronauts made it safely on board the International Space Station. The 4-member group was on the SpaceX Dragon for its first fully operational mission. They successfully docked at 11 last night and were greeted with hugs as they entered the space station. The mission to get there took about 27 hours. The astronauts are able to spend about 6 months in space and conduct research. NASA hopes this will be the first journey of many for SpaceX craft to shuttle crews to the station. Very cool, Todd. I just love seeing video of them arriving there. That's really cool. So glad they made it there safely.
You know, and then I love her hair with the gravity. It's just up there, and then just float through the tube into the space station. So yeah, it's always good.
Everything floating around there.
Yep, see them safely dock, and should be a good mission up there for 6 months. All right, outside here in central Indiana, it's a little breezy. It's a little on the chilly side, but we have no precipitation out there. That's the good news as you get going on this Tuesday morning. 39 degrees is the current temperature. It feels like 30, though, when you factor in this wind that is out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour. So the wind here this morning, it's not strong enough to cause any damage. We're not talking about power outages. We're not talking about big trees coming down. It's more of a nuisance because it's making the temperatures here feel a little bit cooler than they actually are. Actual temperatures are up right around 40 degrees this morning, but this is what it really feels like in your neighborhoods. 31 in Peru, 28 is what it feels like in Lafayette, 35 is the wind chill value down in the Bloomington area, and that's why you probably need the heavier coat this morning as you get going. So speaking of the winds, they're going to be with us throughout much of the day today, kind of staying in the ballpark that they're in right now, gusting anywhere from 15 to about 30 miles per hour through the morning commute, and then they'll start to go down a little bit throughout the course of the afternoon hours. What you do not see change, though, on this graphic is the direction that this arrow is coming from, and that's from the northwest and then pushing off towards the southeast. And that means we are going to have northwesterly winds throughout the entire day. So even though those winds will start to die down as far as the miles per hour and the speed goes, because they're out of the northwest, it's going to keep temperatures very chilly here throughout the day today. Only right around the freezing mark here, still through 9 a.m. By the time we get to the noon hour, we're at 39. And all we could really do today for your temperature is about 42 degrees for your high. So it's a cooler day for us, but it's a bright day as there's no weather makers off to our west. And so we'll enjoy the sunshine, and then we'll keep that sunshine going throughout the course of the next couple days. One thing that will happen tonight with clear skies, temperatures will cool off very quickly. By 8 p.m. we're down to 33 degrees, and as you wake up tomorrow morning, it's the coldest temperatures I have in my 7-day planning forecast, and we wake up to a pretty hard freeze with temperatures that will be in the 20s all across the area. It's a really, really cold start to our Wednesday, but as the winds start to change direction, tomorrow we get the high temperature up to right around 50 degrees with sunny skies. Once we get past the day on Wednesday, look what happens. Thursday, 65. One note, though, it will be very windy on Thursday as well, but the trade-off is the warm air, and then we stay in the 60s all the way through the weekend. Saturday, the clouds increase. The next chance of rain would be late Saturday night, Lauren, into the day on Sunday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, Santa is going digital. The U.S. Postal Service's Operation Santa is officially underway this year. The 108-year-old program fulfills wish lists for needy families and children. For the first time, the would-be gift givers can adopt families online. The new system will allow more children in need across the country to be reached. Kids can address their letters and lists to Santa at 123 Elf Road, North Pole, 88888. The next Black Panther movie will not include a digital double for Chadwick Boseman. An executive producer on the project reportedly told Argentine newspaper Clarín that there's no replacing the actor. Boseman died in August at the age of 43, 4 years after he was diagnosed with cancer. He became a global icon with his role as King T'Challa in the boundary-breaking film Black Panther. Second Black Panther installment is slated for release in 2022. And there were touching tributes being made in honor of the late Jeopardy host Alex Trebek on Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen wore these custom-made cleats with Trebek during last night's game against the Bears. The designer shared these images of them on Twitter. On one side of the shoe, it says Trebek with a halo, and on the other side, a blue Jeopardy box that reads, "We will miss you, Alex, $19,000. He chose the number because it stems from his jersey number, which is number 19. If you could describe 2020 in a smell, what would it be? After the break, the scents one company picked to put in this all-encompassing candle. And the pandemic continues to take a toll on local Hoosier businesses. Coming up, all new at 5 o'clock, our own Kelsey Anderson shows us how one restaurant is finding a way to adapt and thrive in these times. It's 4:52. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. There is a new unique candle just in time for the holidays, and the smell is a little bit too familiar. It's part hand sanitizer, banana bread, and more in this 2020 themed scent. The candle was created by a company called Flaming Crap. It says the candle has 4 layers: hand sanitizer, banana bread, along with woody musk, which is a nod to the lockdown DIY projects, and the smell of cheap aftershave and earthy essence, which is dedicated to the Netflix docu-series Tiger King. Each candle costs about $20. I don't know if I want to smell 2020 any longer than we have to, Todd.
I think I'm just going to go with the old pine candle for.
Those are my favorites too.
The old pine, or they have some like winter snow one or something.
Oh yeah,
like
winter.
That. Something
That's
like
a good
that.
one.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, outside. All right, now it's a little breezy still. Temperatures are in the 30s, so you'll need to bundle up. And we'll have lots of sunshine today. 42 degrees with your high temperature. 50 tomorrow, and then the warmer air starts to finally work its way back in. We're in the 60s Thursday through Sunday, with the next chance of rain being Saturday night into Sunday morning. Time now is 4:57. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. We're back in just a couple minutes. Stay with us, and we'll see you then.